Hi, this is Alexandra with Beadaholique, here to show you how to bead weave a flower using Ginko beads. So here we have the chocolate lily earring, and we'll be making the companion to this. I also want to show you another design that's kind of similar. This is the Biloba earring, which we also have a video on, but you'll see as we work that the technique becomes a little bit different. So for beads, what I have here are 2-hole Ginko beads in the crystal full Capri. I have dark bronze SuperDuo beads. I've got some Toho 11-0 Demi rounds in this really pretty nickel color. Some 2mm Swarovski crystal pearls in cream. I've also got an elegant earring hook, a closed 4mm jump ring, and for tools I'll be using scissors and chain nose pliers. I've got some bent chain nose pliers, the smoke FireLine in the 4-pound test. And I've got my needle here, and I've gone ahead and strung 2 feet of the FireLine. So let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is bring in some of these beads I'll be working with, just so I have them a little closer to me. And these are all Czech glass 2-hole beads, and then these Demi rounds, you'll see how well these fit in here. So to begin, what I'm going to do is alternate 5 of the Tohos with 5 of the SuperDuos. And now I'm going to string those down and tie them into a ring, kind of a standard starting point oftentimes with these SuperDuo beads. Tying once, and then looping around twice for the surgeon's knot. Give a nice secure start to our piece here. Now I could leave that tail on and weave it in at the end, but I know how that kind of gets in my way, so I'm going to actually trim that from the get-go. So now we've got our starting point, and what I'm going to do first off is take up one of these little 2mm Swarovski pearls and sew that into the center. Find that tiny hole there, set that in. I'm going to pull this up so that we can see better what we're doing. I'm going to bring that into the middle of the piece, cross my thread over, and now I'm bringing my needle from behind, weaving underneath my thread there and coming around in a loop, just to kind of tuck that bead in with one secure roundabout on that thread. So once I've got that in there, I know it's not going to move around. I'm going to come through the bottom hole of my adjacent SuperDuo, and then up, making a little thread bridge there into my second hole of that same SuperDuo. And now I'm ready to go into my second round of weaving. So let me set that down and start by picking up 1 Demi round, 1 Ginko through the pointed nose side, and then 4 of the Demi rounds. I'm going to come back through the second hole of the Ginko. They're getting in my way a little bit. See if I can keep it on the tail for you so you can see. Put that in where I want it. Now I'm going to take another 11-0 Demi round and come through the second hole of the adjacent SuperDuo. And the bead sits in like so. So I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to take up another 11-0, another Ginko bead. There's some subtle difference to the color of this finish, which I really like. So I'm going to start to pay attention to that as I go around and pick up 4 more Tohos. Bring some more of those in. Come through the second hole, back toward the center of my piece. Pick up another Demi round, and again through the adjacent SuperDuo, filling that second hole. So that's the process for the second round of beads. I'm going to bring in this pretty sort of pinkish one. And you can imagine the nice color combinations you could come up with for any season, really. For some reason, I ended up with a kind of a metallic finish on my palette here. Pull that in and get my next Toho bead. Come through the SuperDuo and pull that in. Starting again, I got another Toho, another Ginko, more SuperDuos. Got those 4 coming back through. And taking up my Toho bead, coming through the SuperDuo. And I'm on my last Ginko. Do the same thing here, pick up my Toho, come through my Ginko bead. Now as I pick up my last 4 Tohos, what I want to do is bring in my closed jump ring. I'm going to take on 2 of those Tohos, my jump ring, and then 2 more of the Tohos. Come back through the second hole of the bead and pick up 1 more Toho. That's my last bead to add. And when I come back through here, it's going to be through this SuperDuo. Get my needle through and secure all of this so we can see what we're doing. And we want to situate this little jump ring kind of in between the beads, and I know it slips until I get it positioned with the thread kind of taut where I want it. So I think that'll do it there. So you get your jump ring where you want it to be. And now I'm going to start to double back through some of my beads. So right now my thread's coming between the SuperDuo and the Toho here. And what I need to do is get my needle into that seed bead, doubling back through it so that I can also double back through the adjacent Ginko bead. You'll see my needle pass through a seed bead there. I'm going to continue through the rest of those as well. Coming back through the second hole of that same bead. And from here, we're going to start to add on some little pearls in between each Ginko bead. So you'll see that I'm avoiding any of these little beads down here. I'm coming straight out of that second hole to add on my pearl. And I'm going to bring my needle now through the second hole of the next Ginko bead over. So I haven't doubled back through any of the other small beads in between. It's just going from one Ginko to another. And again, I'm going to double back through the Tohos around the edge. And what this is doing is it's securing the design. So the way these petals fall out, it makes it quite floppy, but once I get those pearls in there, it kind of locks everything together. So it's surprising what a little 2mm bead can do. So let me grab another one of those. They're very small. And I'm going to do the same thing, bring that down in, come up through the second hole of the next Ginko over, and also through the outer Tohos. Double back through the second hole of that same bead, and bring on my next pearl. And so in this fashion, we're just kind of binding the design together. And that's the trick with these Ginko beads, the way that they're drilled. And what's neat also is that you can really create a unique look with these beads along the outside edge of those. And I like to capitalize on that with this design. So I'm just going to finish up adding this pearl and the next one, and then we'll be ready to tie off and weave in our thread. I'm passing through the Tohos here. I'm also coming through the jump ring and the other two. All right, get my last pearl. And weave my way back through one more Ginko. Once I come down through the second hole of this, I'll be ready to make a knot. All right, so I'm going to take and bring my thread underneath my outer edge thread there and tie a knot, and then come one more time and tie one more knot. So that's secure. I'll go ahead and come through this little pearl here just to be safe. Weaving in my thread. There we go. Just to make sure it's tucked in. Bring in my scissors and clip my thread. So now that we've got the weaving completed, we'll bring in our ear hook. And you'll notice the way that the loop is, if I were to hang my flower, it would not be facing front. So what we're going to do is change the orientation of this earring hook by gently gripping, let me get it where you can see it, gripping the loop with one plier, and then I'm going to take my other plier and very gently and slowly just rotate that loop so that it faces the opposite direction, forward like so. And once I've got it facing that way, I'm going to open it up, slide on my jump ring, and close the loop. And there we have our second chocolate lily earring. So that's one way to bead weave a flower using Ginko beads. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can see lots more videos. All of these tools and supplies are available at Beadaholique.com, and be sure to click the bell and subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching.